What's up and welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast, where three, sometimes four lifelong friends gather to talk about video games and news that you all need to know about. And with me this week is, well, me, Trevor Bettis, along with your normally scheduled host,
Holden. Hi, Holden DePardo.
and your other guest host,
the 5-star man, Asa Gray.
There we go. And to tell you more about our first quest log, I'm going to pass it over to Holden. How you doing, Holden?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Trevor, for introducing the podcast. We're starting off with Google this week because I guess we still need to talk about Stadia. So the first thing coming from Google is actually from them directly, from Jade Raymond, who is the head of Stadia Games and Entertainment. And they have a post called Game On. Our first Stadia studio is coming to Montreal. Their first studio is coming, as it says, to Montreal. It'll be their very first exclusive studio. They'll be making games that are trying to utilize all the benefits of Stadia, whatever those happen to be when we see these games when they come out.
What was it, the game-changing things that Stadia can do or something like that?
Yeah, it was marketing BS.
It really was.
And they promised that the exclusive titles will represent all of your favorite genres. They went on also an interview with GameIndustry.biz, or sorry, Jade Raymond specifically did, and she said a few things I wanted to highlight, and then we can kind of jump in and share our thoughts on them. She says that we have a plan that includes building out a few different first-party studios, and also building up the publishing organization to ship exclusive content created by indie devs and other external partners. So more than just one studio is going to be coming up in the future at some point. On first-party games need to be unique to the platform. Jade said that Google's cloud infrastructure would allow first-party titles with, quote, more detailed simulations, more advanced AI behaviors, or MMO-like experiences that redefine massively multiplayer. Jade Raymond cited Google Duplex when describing how Google's AI could facilitate NPC interactions within the game. And although it may take years to see a massive AAA title that fully utilizes the cloud, they have quite a few exclusive games in the works that will demonstrate some of the exciting things about the platform sooner than that. In terms of the rollout of their exclusive content, she does say that, again, like a AAA title is going to be years away coming from them exclusively. However, they have a, quote, spectrum of bets, each at a different stage of development. Google on launch day will be mostly third-party titles with some specific Stadia features, but post-launch, second-party indie titles will utilize like YouTube integration and the kind of other like Stadia-specific features that she didn't really go into too much detail on. So all still kind of vague, but they're working on exclusive content. Aren't you guys excited?
I feel like your listeners have a good crossover with Kind of Funny, so they're going to understand the Gary Wood word I'm going to use here. That was a lot of word salad. Like that was,
yes.
There were words there. Did any
there
of
were
them get
words
you
there,
hyped?
and they said game and exclusive.
Well, and so many of them, too, it had nothing to do with, like, I don't know, it's... Yes, of course, they've said they're going to do exclusives, so, like, why does this require its own statement? Other than, I know we're launching the service in November for the founders, but no, that's fine. Like, it's all going to be third parties and games we've already played before.
Like, this feels like an announcement that should have come out when Stadia got announced, not 2 weeks before it launches. It's like, cool, so you're going to have Stadia exclusive games eventually.
Yeah, which they, like, I guess Phil Harrison, the guy who did the big reveal, like, they announced that. I was just really hoping, because, like, I'm a founder. Like, I got the Founders Edition, and I'm kind of excited to get my hands on it and give it a try, but, man, I really wish there was something exclusive or special that I could really be looking forward to other than the Chromecast that I'm going to get in the mail here in, like, 2-3 weeks.
Oh, God, I forgot that they actually.
You're more excited about the Chromecast you could already buy in stores than Stadia itself. That's funny.
Because it's like, I get Shadowkeep,
like...
so I'm kind of excited about that since I've started playing Destiny 2 with, well, you guys, but...
Spoilers.
I don't think it's going to have crossplay on Stadia. I think it has to stay on Stadia.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
The Shadowkeep content will have to, but I can move my character from, like, how I'm playing on PlayStation with you guys. The cross-save, the cross-save, cross-progression stuff will work.
Yep.
I just won't be able to do
have
the
to be
Shadowkeep
on, like,
stuff.
a PlayStation or Xbox or PC to play with everybody else.
Yeah, no, you won't be able to, like, actually, like, play with us while we're on PlayStation. You're on Stadia, but you'll still have your stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that's not a total loss, because at least if you do something on one platform, it'll get it on the other platform too. But then again, like, why would you then choose to go to Stadia when you already have access?
Because you could play Stadia while you're on the bus.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like with things like PlayStation Now and Remote Play, you can kind of do that already.
Yeah, sort of. But is Remote Play really that good right now? Chad can't even play it from China.
According to Chad, yes. So, what this feels like to me, like, compare this to Microsoft, where Microsoft is like, hey, last year, at that point would be 2 plus years before the new Xbox comes out. They've said, we're buying all these new studios. So it kind of gives them some time for those studios to do something.
Yeah.
And Google's like a heavy procrastinator high school student who's like, the paper's due in 3 days. I better start working on it. Like, the launch is next month. We better get some exclusive content created for
it. Like they went up to their kids in class like, hey, can we turn this into a group project? Can we just put our name on that? That'd be cool.
It's so weird that they, like, in the announcement when they talked about all of the studios they were going to be working with, on top of just like go back a couple years and seeing all of the like big names, like people like Jade Raymond, who have left their, you know, typical video game industry jobs to go to Google, and how long they've been there, for them to not have something for the launch is real surprising for me and real disappointing. But that makes me also think that, okay, surely there's no way we are years away, like multiple years away from the first Stadia exclusive game.
I think we
are.
I think we're
That's
years away
so
from
weird.
the first good Stadia game.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, well, see, they don't even have the benefit of the doubt of like, because look at, I think they talked about it on Kind of Funny this week even, of just like, go back and the number of launch titles that come out every console generation are typically garbage. Like, they're passable, but there's nothing really special. Google could have gotten a free pass if they would have, you know, put something out in November, like when this launches. But instead, it's like, okay, we've had this service for upwards of a year, going by what they're saying. If they don't put out, like, if their first game isn't killer, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot.
Some would say they already have.
And that's someone who like is looking forward to Stadia and really wants it to succeed. Like, I'm super excited to see what can happen here.
I want Stadia to be awesome. I want it to like actually be what they're talking about. Do I think it's going to be? No, not at all.
I think so. If they have money to throw at this, where they can keep this going for years before that AAA title ends up coming out, they had money to just like buy out Baldur's Gate 3 or something like that and say, that game, you've been waiting for it, only on Stadia. And that would have attracted hardcore gamers
but still,
to the platform.
Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't even have a release date. It doesn't even have a release window. They say we're going to be working on it until it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And my point, though, is that they have something. Like, they could buy out a big game.
I mean, it's Stadia. Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of my Stadia exclusive because, as we talked about before we started recording, I don't have a gaming PC. Like, I'm on my laptop with holding my microphone because I don't have, like, a set-up desk and area to play. The Baldur's Gate 3 is a PC exclusive. Like, it's not coming to consoles. So the only way that I'm going to be able to sit on my couch and play it is with Stadia.
I will say this, we don't know for sure that it's not coming to console. All they have said is that it's coming to PC and Stadia. They have not said any kind of exclusivity thing to it. And if it's going to work with the Stadia controller, it might just work overall.
On controllers, yeah.
So, you know, we don't know because that's, again, how far out that game is.
And I'm only basing that off of the announced trailer when they were, you know, it only showed Stadia and Google because typically, you know, they would love to have the Xbox logo, the PlayStation logo on there.
Yeah, so if it's that far off, they probably couldn't have said it's going to PlayStation 5 and Xbox 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see, but I don't know. I'm just like really worried about this. Because I'm not a big Google fan at this point. The only reason I really want Stadia to succeed is that I think that the concepts they're talking about are really cool, and eventually Microsoft and Sony are going to steal them.
Yeah,
because that's how this stuff works. So like, I'll get those features out using Google eventually, as long as it's successful. But I do feel like they aren't going to back out of this like they've been accused of backing out other projects before. I really do think they're committed to it. If they opened up a studio, they're not after a year going to say, well, guys, didn't do that well. We're done. They're going to keep throwing money at this until it's good.
I don't know. How those Google Glasses treating you?
No, they are going to bring those back. They've said they're going to bring it back. They just need to make it a second version after 8 years or whatever, however long it's been. But they're going to bring it back. And I think they are going to, because even Apple's rumored to make AR glasses, so they'll have to make something for Android. That'll happen again. But yeah, I actually got to wear Google Glass once.
Oh, I think I did too.
They're surprisingly comfortable.
Yeah, they just made you look real dumb.
They did. They did make you look really dumb, but they were surprisingly comfortable. All right. Do you guys have anything else to say about Stadia?
No.
You guys good?
Yeah.
No.
All right. We have a lot more to talk about this episode. We're going to be talking about all the games that got delayed, WWE 2020, which should have gotten delayed, and then Fallout First, which just shouldn't exist at all.
That one hits real close to home, so I'm very excited to get to talk about that.
So before we get into all that, though, we're going to go into Playtime. Asa, what have you been playing this week?
So I'm not going to dwell on it because I know you don't like it, and I don't have Chad here to back me up. But I finally, finally beat the campaign in Borderlands 3. I was very underwhelmed, I'll say. Me and Jesse,
most Borderlands endings, though.
Other than 2, I loved the story of 2 from start to finish. There were a couple points that it kind of dragged a little, but that almost felt more of the gameplay side of things, not necessarily the story. But the story in 3 just didn't really click for me, but the gameplay itself was phenomenal. I loved the changes that they made. Everything felt quicker. The more, as you level up, the more abilities you get. Seeing how those actually apply to your character, it makes me want to go through the story 3 more times with the other 3 Vault Hunters, just to see, how those feel and what other upgrades they can get. So overall I really enjoyed it, but the story itself I was a little let down on. But the thing that I'm very excited to talk about is a month's old game, so sorry for not being topical, but I finally started I bought it the weekend it came out because it went on sale the weekend it came out, but I'm only just now starting Control. And
okay.
I love it. It is creepy in ways that I want it to be creepy. It's messing with me. It's hitting me in the perfect way that no matter what I say, I'm going to overhype this game for people who haven't played it yet. Just because I don't know what it is, but this is hitting me in a real special way. But I love it.
Have you played Remedy's other games?
No, I'm not a huge Remedy.
Really?
Yeah. Because I'm.
Have you played Max Payne?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've played Max Payne, Max Payne 1 and 2.
Yeah,
but no Alan Wake, Quantum Break. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reason I got it,
I don't know. Does Quantum Break deserve a really? I don't know.
Well, it was one of those games that when it came out, it was everyone was curious about it. It wasn't just oh no, I'm not gonna play that. It's
That's
just
true.
It's this weird game that has a TV show in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one didn't super appeal to me, but the setting of this. Secret government agency covering up paranormal stuff. That is right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'm running. So graphically, it's really pretty, but it does have some performance issues. I thought it was a jump scare, but it was actually me glitching into a table and sending everything on the table flying off. So
the
that
glitch
was a little...
is the most terrifying thing in video games.
So that was weird. And when things get really chaotic on screen, there can be quite a bit of slowdown. But overall, I am loving it. The world building, the lore. Typically in games like these, whenever there's a bunch of collectibles that you have to read, in the first Destiny with the Grimoire cards, I did not read a single Grimoire card. I might have read the first 5 that I picked up, but then I was there's so many of these, I'm not keeping up with this. Control, I am actively scouring every bit of every room I can get into to try to find all of these files and memos and recordings and videos, because they're all just they're really, really well done. I get a real strong... Do you guys know the SCP series?
Yeah.
It's a real strong SCP vibe. For those of you who don't know, it's this online...
Wait, what's SCP?
So it's this online collection of supernatural items and beings that this secret organization has is monitoring and containing. So everything is numbered, so it's SCP-006 is these ballerina shoes that make you an amazing dancer, but you can never take them off, and essentially you just dance until you die. And it's weird stuff like that.
That's the video game though, right? There's a video game of that.
They made a game of it, yeah, but there's like a huge online database that you can go to, and it's all like people can submit ideas and they'll become like official ones, and it's super cool. It's really interesting, and it's easy to go down the rabbit hole. Some of them are kind of lame, some of them are super cool. But
it's the internet. That's
gotta have a good balance.
Exactly. So there's cursed items that you can find, and they're giving you new abilities. I'm still only a few hours into the game, but I can't it's what I'm going to do today. Like as soon as we're done recording this, I'm going to jump on and start playing because I'm loving it.
Very cool.
Yeah, Control, I have it. I want to beat it before the end of the year because I want to consider it for Game of the Year. Mm-hmm. I played the first... I would say I played about 3 hours, maybe more than that of it, and just really loved it too. Mm-hmm. It's definitely one of those very special games, and it's a shame apparently it's not been selling that well.
No, it's...
Because it's a really unique game.
Everyone that's played it has I see on Twitter Andy Cortez and all these other internet personalities, people who've played it are everyone needs to buy this game. Mm-hmm. Everyone needs to play this game because it is.
I'm probably gonna pick it up maybe on Black Friday or something like that. That's not has nothing to do with it's the price or anything. That's just my own financial thing.
Oh, yeah, and I wouldn't have bought I probably wouldn't have picked it up if it didn't go on sale so early. But I'm very glad I did because I think if the story can hold up and the gameplay loop can stay as fun as it is for me, this could end up being my game of the year. Only because every game that I was super excited for to varying degrees has let me down. Mm-hmm. Anthem was Anthem. That was the game I was most looking forward to this year, hands down.
Do you guys remember Anthem?
It hurts. Mortal Kombat 11 is a lot of fun, but there are aspects to that really kind of was disappointing for me. Same thing with Borderlands 3. It's more Borderlands, and that's really all I super wanted. But the story, after having how much I loved the second story, coming into this third one is kind of eh. And maybe it's because I had no expectations for Control, but it's vibing with me in a crazy way, and I love it.
Trevor, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a couple things. I've been playing some Destiny 2 with some real cool peeps and people.
Who's that?
Me too.
That's weird. It's so weird. Yeah, so we've been doing the Respawn community nights, Thursday nights with your patron, and we've been having some fun. We've been kicking some ass.
Yeah, this is going to be a staple game.
Yeah,
for game nights, for sure.
I'm having so much. I love Destiny 2. I've been playing it for freaking ever. But playing with you all, hopping on Thursday nights and doing this, it has been so much fun. Splitting off into groups, doing strikes, or just if there's not enough of us playing some Gambit, playing some Crucible, it's been awesome. In listener, if you're missing out on that, you can go to patreon.com/respawning fire. Is that it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and you
thanks for the plug.
You can become a patron and you can play some awesome Destiny 2 with us because it's fun.
That was a fan testimonial right there. That wasn't even one of us. That was a fan testimonial there.
Right.
That's how great it is.
So good.
It is a lot of fun.
Totally worth it. The other thing that I've been playing, I'll do I've been playing Baldur's Gate 2 because they released Baldur's Gate 1, 2, Icewind Dale, and Planescape Torment on the consoles along with Switch, and it is the best freaking thing I have on my Switch, and I'm so excited.
Are you playing it docked or are you playing it handheld?
I've done both. I prefer undocked because I can just take it. I can play Baldur's Gate. I can play D&D wherever I want.
That's kind of I saw that. I think you posted about it on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend this money, but I might have to."
And it's old D&D, it's second edition D&D, so it's just hey, you want a really low armor class, so that shit it can't hit you as hard. And you're like, "How's that make any sense?" And they go, "Just because it does. Just go along with it." But man, it's got some of my favorite characters in it. He's got Minsk and Boo. I love Minsk and Boo. Anybody who listens to my podcast, Difficulty Class, knows I love Minsk and Boo. But yeah, it is just a lot of fun, and having it on the Switch and on the go is fantastic. Actually getting it ported to a controller is not terrible, which surprised the hell out of me because it is a isometric view, point and click, pause, do all your skills and everything, and somehow it works perfectly with the controller.
So you just use the joystick just to move the cursor around, basically?
So they actually made it so
or do you actually move your character?
You actually move your character now, which is so much better than what it used to be, because I was so tired of being click, all right, they walk there, click, okay, go there, click, okay, and now I can just fucking move them like
I can't stand that in games.
I can control them with a joystick like God intended.
Well, it's like, just to parallel that, like the Witness on iPad, you have to tap to where you want to go, whereas on PlayStation you just move the joystick to move your character, and it's so strange going over to the iPad for that reason. Still a good game though. Anyway, but not at all Baldur's Gate. Keep going.
But yeah, so if you like any sort of D&D or are curious about D&D World, go check out Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Then the other thing I've been playing, which you were talking about your possible game of the year, is my possible game of the year, Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds.
Outer Worlds.
Oh, okay.
Oh my fucking God. This game... I was playing it yesterday. My wife is in love with this game already. She stayed up till 3 a.m. the night it came out playing it. And I was playing it yesterday, and about 2 hours into my session, I looked at my wife and went, "This is better than Fallout 4. This is what I wanted after Fallout New Vegas. This was the game. It's here. I'm so freaking happy." Like everything from like the way it looks, the dialogue. I even like the menus, even though that's one of the things that people have been giving a lot of shit about. The only thing I really have a problem with is its map, because it's not the best, but I also don't really care because it's just so much fun shooting shit and getting people pissed off at me and finding out these terrible secrets about people.
So when I heard this game was coming to Switch, I'm like, oh, I'll just hold out.
Don't do
and
it.
Get it for Switch.
Don't do it.
I know.
Here's
the response has been so positive. I'm compelled.
I'll tell you this. I guarantee you get this game now, you play through it, you're going to have a shitload of fun, and then next July, or whenever the hell it's going to come out for Switch, I think it's rumored it's July, I guarantee you're going to be like, I want to play through it again. And you're going to be even more excited, and I guarantee you'll still get it for Switch, and you're going to have just as much fun. Because it's so good.
I don't know if I want to buy a game twice, though, but I'm compelled. I'm very, very compelled.
Sir, I'm over here with, God, Oxenfree I've purchased 5 times. So, like, I'm no stranger to buying games multiple times.
But that close together. Like, I just played it again on PlayStation at that point. But I really think I might. I really think I might get that because I, too, really like Fallout. At least I like Fallout 4 a lot. Mm-hmm. And I never played Fallout New Vegas. And I hear that's the cream of the crop.
It is
of the most recent Fallout games.
Well, and here's the thing. So it's made by Obsidian, and Obsidian was founded by the original creators of the first Fallout games. So, like, that's their bread and butter. So when Bethesda was like, hey, you want to make a Fallout game for us? They're like, oh, yeah, we can make a fucking Fallout game. And they made the one that everyone agrees is the best one. And Bethesda's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That game never existed. So
that was just a spin-off game. Don't look that direction.
Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
It doesn't have a number. It doesn't count.
Exactly. And now they have been like, you know what? Fine, fuck you. We made our own Fallout game with our own universe, with our own crazy stuff, and it's still so much Fallout, though. Like, I went into a factory that's been overrun with murderous robots. I'm like, yep, I'm here for this. This is great.
How is the size comparison between, like, New Vegas and Outer Worlds?
So they've split up the map into different worlds, the Outer Worlds part of it, and so there are multiple maps because you're gonna be traveling.
That's why
to
it's
different
called
planets.
Outer Worlds.
I know, it's so weird. It's mind blowing, man.
Now I get it.
And I will say the maps are small, but I also found myself not really caring because, like, So I left the main town, and it was like, okay, I'm going to go to my next objective, which is some fucking warehouse that I got to steal a thing. And I started walking, and then, like, less than 3 minutes, I'm like, oh, there it is. And part of me went, whoa, this map's small. I'm angry about it. The other part of me went, did you really want to waste, like, 15 minutes walking through nothing to just get to the same fucking spot? And I went, all right, that's fair. I'm the map itself, like, I've only seen one map so far, and just that one is freaking beautiful. The wildlife is hilarious and awesome. They had, like, just little things running around the map that aren't even hostile. They're just there to be animals. Like, there was a thing that looked like a snake, except a snake if it was like Peter Griffin. So it's like just this big fat thing that's just kind of slithering along the ground. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I just followed it for like a minute. Like, what are you? And then at one point, I thought there were people still alive in this building that I was systematically taking people out, like fucking Agent 47. And I kept hearing this. I'm like, what the fuck? He was laughing. What the fuck? And then I look down, and it's this little fucking fuzzball at my foot that's just like a mouse, but weird. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's just how that is then. Okay, great. But I love this game. It's freaking-tastic. And to confuse all the listeners, I think Holden's now going to talk about the very closely named other game.
In a second, I have one question about this. How's the dumb dialogue?
Oh, so my wife actually did that. She took the intelligence all the way down, and she said she's been loving every answer she's been giving people. Where it like I think there was one that was just like, "All right, do you have all your supplies with you?" It was just like chair, and the guy's like, "That's not an answer."
All right, I might have to get this game. Damn it!
Yeah, I might check it out on Game Pass.
Yeah, see that?
Because I'm also hearing that Death Stranding is really long, so I'm like, I have to beat Death Stranding too. And then Pokemon's really long; it's going to be coming out. And I don't know how long Star Wars is going to be. I have a lot of long games.
So here's the thing: Outer Worlds is a smaller game overall. It is 30 to 40 hours.
I've heard, yeah.
Which I'm like, that's perfect for me right now.
It's
that's
still long.
Perfect. Yeah,
it's still long,
but it's not like the 80 to 90 hour RPGs.
Yeah, it's like The Witcher 3 or something like that.
Jesus Christ, no.
So yes, I'm going to talk about the similarly named but very different game called The Outer Wilds. I beat it this week.
Oh, you did?
Nice.
I did beat it. There's also multiple secret endings that are really cool. One of them is literally breaking the fabric of space and time, and that was pretty fucking badass.
Okay.
It's a really wild
game. From where
game.
I know that game starts to there, that escalated quickly.
But this is definitely... I'm trying to not be hyperbolic because like Ace was kind of saying that Control just hit all those sweet spots for you. It's the same thing with this game and me. I liked Breath of the Wild so much because there's this world I could explore, and I kind of felt like there was this mystery to the world. Where Zelda, that was kind of shallow, the mystery to the world aspects to it. Like, you kind of know things went to shit, Ganon took over and destroyed everything. Whereas, like, this, unraveling the mystery is the game. So as you're exploring and finding out about this alien race you're investigating, it just so much was opened up. It's incredible. It's a really, really good game. I'm so glad I played it.
Yeah,
and I want to maintain not sharing too much about it because the exploring and discovering and the puzzles will be ruined if I say like anything about this.
I told you when we were playing Destiny this week that I was going to play it before we did this episode, and I fucking failed on that because I was playing Outer Worlds so much. I was like, all right, I'm going to stop so I can play Outer Wilds. Shit, an hour went by. All right, I'm going to stop so I can play Outer Wilds. Shit, another hour went by.
I honestly feel like it's best that when you play this game, you dedicate to it, and it's the primary game that you're playing. Just because some of the puzzles are really abstract, and how it kind of worked for me at least is I would go somewhere, I'd do something, and I go, what the fuck do I even do here? What's going on? This makes no sense to me. And then I'd step back, I'd go to school, and the middle class would be like, oh, I wasn't listening to you, Professor,
Eureka!
but I just figured out what to do in the Outer Wilds.
So
it's a really great game.
How long do you think it took you to beat?
I don't know. I looked online and it said that on time to beat, the average was 15 hours. I'm like, I went way over that. There's no way. Yeah, it says to 15 hours. But here's the thing is that once you know, like, you can beat the game in a good 15 minutes if you really know what you're doing.
Wait,
it's really
what?
not... Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 20, 30, but like not that long. But it's just there's so much exploring and figuring out this world, and it's one of those games where the journey is totally the fun of this game, and then I think it has a unique, satisfying ending with kind of that like Inception spinning the top. It's not definitive. It doesn't tell me everything, but I can piece together things on my own, and I think this is really cool.
I'm definitely gonna have to sit down and play this game, because between last week's episode and this right now, yeah, I really want to play it, because you said it was like a walking simulator but with like puzzles in it, and like I do love I love Gone Home, I love Firewatch. Everyone's Gone to the Rapture didn't grab me as much as the other ones, but this one's definitely intriguing me. But I am kind of sad that it sounds like it's one of those games that once you go through it, there's no more surprises or any like you already know what's going on, so there's no real like satisfying like thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Once you have figured out what's happening, there's not a huge reason to go back to other planets.
Like aside from like getting the secret endings and things like that.
Yeah, but even the secret endings are like, I wonder if this will work. And then you try it, and you're like, "Oh, that was an ending."
See, here's the thing, though.
Okay.
Like, I know it's super disappointing
yeah.
to game developers, but I just go watch secret endings on YouTube. I don't. I'm like, no, especially like games like this where I'm like, I don't want to go back and do this stuff that I already know how to do all these things to. I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah. So what happened with me is I was on Reddit, and the Reddit community for this game is really interesting because they're very focused on not spoiling things. So it's all people sharing hints and like, have you considered maybe like opening up this, or have you gone to this? How much have you explored this particular area? They'll kind of like point you in different directions. So I kind of saw some hints on there and then said, okay, I want to go here and see what happens. And I'm like, oh my God, I broke the fabric of space and time. Like, what's going on?
God, I really wish there was a Prima guide like that didn't actually tell you the answers. Things like, hey, did you go check out that shed?
My friend Steven, I was telling him about it, and he decided to get it this week. And we've been talking to each other to kind of give each other hints as well. And honestly, without his help, I don't think I would have beaten this game. The puzzles can get pretty obscure.
Sounds like one of those good old recess games where you gotta go talk to your friends on the basketball court to find out some secrets.
But then you have to balance that
it's very
between
much
the
like
fake
that.
secrets that, oh, yeah, no, if
Yeah, I was
you
about
get
to say.
strength and move the truck on the island, you get Mew.
Yeah, those freaking bastards are just like, hey, if you trade Pikachu and Squirtle 100 times, he makes Pika Blue. And I fucking did that shit. I'll never forgive you, CJ.
No one lies to you in the game. That's good, because it would be impossible. But it's also... apparently, so I never played a lot of the like adventure games from like Lucas Arts and things like that, like Secret Monkey Island. I never played this kind of games, but apparently has a lot in common with those, like a Myst.
Yeah,
if you guys have played those.
Oh
before.
yeah, I could definitely see the influence of Myst in that.
Yeah, so I think it's a really interesting game. Highly recommend playing it. Yeah, I honestly still think about it, even though like I've beaten it. I still
can
kinda
tell.
Go, like,
I can see it in your
really
face.
Cool.
He doesn't even want to do the podcast anymore. He's just going to
hit
play
those
Outer
spots
Wilds.
for me. Well, there was one night this week where I'm like, oh, I got to finish this, this trick homework, and I'm like, well, I can't focus on that right now. Let me just do two things. Let me just focus on these two things, and then I'll go back to the trick homework after that. Because it consumed me. It was really bad. But I just want to try really hard not to like be hyperbolic about the game and kind of ruin it for other people. It is a small experience in the sense that it's an indie team. I think the original development team was like 12 people, and it scaled up after that. So it's not a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a huge game. But yeah, I think it's worth trying out. If you have Xbox Game Pass, it is on there.
That is how I have it.
So if you have Xbox, you should play it that way. It's on PS2. I honestly don't
PS2.
see this game coming
Wow,
to Switch.
wow,
Or
what
PS4.
a
It's on
retro
PS4.
game we got here.
It's on PS2, but I don't see it coming to Switch. I just don't think the Switch can handle it.
Oh, wow.
I actually think it is
no, so
scheduled for Switch.
Is it?
I'm almost.
I don't know. There's a lot of heavy physics simulations in this.
Well, I will find out while we talk about other things.
Well, there's a lot of stuff with like black holes and things from like I don't know if the Switch could handle that.
It can handle.
I have no
stuff.
idea.
You don't oppress it.
I mean, I would love it if it came to Switch. I think it'd be a great system to play it on. There's a mechanic in the game that lends itself very well to short burst portable play.
Mm-hmm.
So let me know what you find out.
I don't see anything about like I guess what they've said is like they have nothing to announce. They just announced that it's coming to PS4. I think it just came out for PS4.
October
Isn't that true?
15th.
It did, yeah.
October 15th, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it on there, though.
Yeah. One day, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I already played at this point, and I'm not going to go back and play it again, most likely.
And
except unless I forget what happened.
Yeah, and you won't.
Like if someone destroys the concept of time, the fabric of time, then
then I'll go back. Yeah. They destroyed the fabric of space and time, but my PlayStation 4 will still work. I can still play the game. All right, moving on to our fetch quests. Speaking of games that are coming to Switch, Outer Worlds will be coming to Switch, but it's not releasing until next year. Boo. So I might have to get that on PS4. Trevor, you're convincing me. Call of Duty will not be in Russia on PlayStation, but it will be there for Xbox and PC, which is kind of strange. Sony doesn't want to sell it there, and they were very vague as to why. I just thought that was interesting.
That's so weird.
So weird. And then Ken Levine's new game is supposedly an ambitious immersive sim. The job listing refers to systemic and scripted narrative events. It should be systematic.
It's Ken Levine.
But anyway, it's Ken Levine. Systemic and scripted narrative events and immersive sim are kind of referred. And apparently immersive sim is the same genre as System Shock and BioShock, which said in the article. I don't see those games as immersive sims.
What? No.
Are sims at all? Like,
yeah.
What are they simming? They don't even speak in Simish. I'm just kidding.
It's a shooter with perks.
Yeah.
At least with BioShock. That's not to discredit it, but anyway, I guess they're trying to say it's going to be similar to those styles of games.
I love Ken Levine, but I feel like he's slowly becoming the next Peter Molyneux, where he just talks about crazy fucking games that are never going to happen until they end up on a phone and he makes someone God. Go look that up. That's a real thing that happened.
The games happen.
That is true.
They're just
the
not
games do happen.
at all what he said they're going to be.
You can take this acorn and plant it in the ground and watch the tree grow. So, oh my god, I love that. I love hearing that guy talk.
Friendship with this child Milo. You guys remember that one?
Oh yeah. You could hold Milo's hand, skip rocks with him with the Kinect. Oh god, what a fucking weird time in gaming that was.
I am excited to see what Ghost Story Games ends up making.
Yeah.
This whole, they talked about this idea of having narrative Lego blocks, and like what you do in one block will change what the next block of the story is going to be, and so on and so forth. And I'm curious what that ends up looking like.
Indeed.
So yeah. Speaking of games not coming out for a while, Ubisoft, moving into our third-party quest log, Ubisoft is delaying almost every game it has announced. So due to disappointing performance from both Division 2 and Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Ubisoft has delayed Watch Dogs Legions, Gods and Monsters, and Rainbow Six Quarantine into the second half of the year. I don't think Rainbow Six Quarantine actually had a release date. I don't even think we knew it was coming out in the first half, but oh well. And then Skull and Bones has been pushed back again to 2021.
That game's still happening?
We'll see.
I know. Yeah, I can't. Honestly, I'm not interested in that game at all. I don't think it looks that interesting.
When they were like, it's Assassin's Creed without the Assassins, or it's Assassin's Creed 4 without the Assassin's Creed. I'm like, fucking awesome. And then they're like, you don't get off your boat, and it's multiplayer. And that's all. And I'm like, no, no one wanted this. No one was like, oh yeah, I want a freaking live service game of just the boat combat from Assassin. Nobody wanted that.
The worst Sea of Thieves.
Oh,
yeah, we're bringing back Ocarina of Time, but we're only having the horse riding, and people are going to love it.
Yeah, it is only Lowland Ranch, and it's massively multiplayer. If the ranch fills up, you can't play. Just drink some milk.
Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot claims the lower return is due to the fact that people have been able to play those games for a long time, referring to Division 2 and Ghost Recon Breakpoint, for a long time and experiencing that gameplay for a long time. We need to wait longer for something that is more differentiated. They've also lowered their projections for 2019-2020 to $1.6 billion, which is down from $2.4 billion. Yeah.
Dude, and he and the investors
Ubisoft
were not kind about it either.
No, the stock dropped.
This all came out during
crazy.
an investor call, and Yves was just like, the Breakpoint was a disappointment. It was a mistake. Like, he straight up said these things, and like the investors were coming back at him with, "What were you thinking?" Like, fucking A, dude. Like they were ripping into not only the games but Eve and all that. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, why release Ghost Recon literally back-to-back years? It's never. I don't think it's ever been.
It wasn't
annualized.
Back-to-back years. Wildlands came out in 2017.
When did Wildlands? Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that game had been out for a really long time. Well, not really long, but
I thought that came out last year.
I'm pretty sure. I'm going to be the guy in the chair real quick.
It seems like
March 7th, 2017.
Feels like it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels like they also haven't put out much between.
They actually
Division
did.
2 was a big deal, and then they keep doing stuff with Rainbow Six Siege. Like they just are adding on to that game. We haven't gotten an Assassin's Creed. We really haven't gotten a whole lot from Ubisoft, it feels like. So that might be why it feels like it came out more recently than it did.
Yeah. They did release content for it. It was mostly just small event things that they didn't really market that well. They marketed it well to the people in the game because they jump in and they're like, "Hey, Predator's in the game now," and they're like, "Oh, okay." But that was a real thing that happened. My guy in Wildlands has a Predator mask on and he kills cartel people. But
that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
actually.
but yeah, them pushing all this stuff back, and like it sucks that they're pushing it all the way up next to the new consoles that are going to come out, and unless they're cross-platform,
this is why I'm convinced that backwards compatibility is going to be a thing on the next generation across the board, because, I mean, spoiler alert, Last of Us got delayed closer to the PS5 launch. Every Ubisoft game got postponed till closer to the PS5 launch or after the PS5 launch in the case of Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
That they've got to be backwards compatible.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if they weren't. And they must know that's the case if they're developing games for them.
Well, PlayStation has flat out said that PS5 is going to be backwards compatible with 4. And then like this week, Microsoft made that announcement that they confirmed that every Xbox One controller that you have will work with Project Scarlet.
The only reason I'm still getting a Series 2 Elite.
It's like,
you ever see something, Trevor?
Oh yeah, I said that's the reason why I'm still getting a Series 2 Elite.
Yeah, that new Elite looks so pretty.
Oh yeah,
I want it.
I want to get an Xbox just to get that Elite controller.
The thing about the backwards compatibility though is that like, yeah, I really hope it is, because it'd be cool if I was able to get my PS5 and just keep playing Destiny 2 and not have to worry about upgrading it or any crap like that. And hopefully that's what it is, because I think that will help out Ubisoft in this regard, because if they are like, hey, you can play, you know, the next Rainbow Six, whatever, get the disc and you'll be able to play it in a few months on your PS5. Cool, I'll still buy it. Great. I'm not going to buy Rainbow Six. But that would be something, and that would help them out, because otherwise it's like, I'm not going to get these games if they're going to be cross-platform when they release. Because like Assassin's Creed 4 back in the day was just on the cusp of this, because they released Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and then 1 or 2 weeks later the new consoles came out and it was released again for them. And I remember like the first one, the first release of it, no one bought it. Like, it was the smallest Assassin's Creed launch ever, and then they made up for it in 2 weeks when it released on the new consoles. So if it's going to be like that, that's going to screw them up real hard. So I hope they got that backwards compatibility for them.
We'll see what happens. In this case, too, like, they're to refer to the whole games as service, because these games have been out for so long, people get used to them or whatever. I think that makes sense with Division 2. I think in terms of games as service, I think you only need one game as service per generation. Release it early on in the generation, and then keep building on it for the rest of the generation. Revamp it at the beginning of the next generation. I think that's a better model. Like, why would, like, for example, like, I know this isn't quite a games as service, but like, Does Nintendo need to release another Mario Kart game for Switch? They already have one. They're good. They're done. They don't need another one. It'd be strange to have another one. I think same thing here. Like, why did Division 2 have to come out? Why didn't they just release a big DLC pack that was Washington, D.C. for the Division 1 as opposed to making Division 2?
So let me answer two of those things. One, Nintendo will never do that with Mario Kart because they'll just add another mechanic that nobody asked for and go, this is why we made a new one. Did you want hover cars? Yes, we got hover cars. But I'm okay with that. With Mario Kart, I'm like, yeah, fine. Give me another $6 game, whatever. It's Mario Kart, I'll buy it. Now, the thing with what you're saying about games as service only needing one game, that's true if they go into that first game with that baked into it. Division 1 did not have that baked into it. So for them to do a completely other map would not have worked in the system that they built. They would not have been able to make it so that you got to pick which map you went into and all that stuff. And plus, the real big problem with these games and doing that stuff is the install size. Destiny is up to, 80-something gigs, I think, if you have everything downloaded. And they've even been talking about how they might have to start cycling content where, hey, we're bringing out this new DLC, but we're taking away Curse of Osiris because we can't fit all of this data on there anymore. So if it's baked into it and we get something like that, that could work, but we don't have anything like that now. Like Destiny 2 is kind of the closest thing, but they're pushing the limit on it. And I don't think that they made Division 2 with that in mind. So I think every Division game is going to be a different city because they don't have a way in that engine to do multiple maps.
I also think that every publisher would absolutely love to be able to sell you a $60 base game, then let you keep buying cosmetics, keep buying expansions up until, the next year, 2 years, whatever, to then, hey, all right, all these complaints you have or these things that we're doing well, we're going to take it up as another notch with Division 3, Destiny 3, whatever, the Warframe 2, whatever they decide to do, so you can get, which Warframe's a terrible example because that's free to play, but the another, $60 investment and then start the cycle all over again.
Yeah.
I think that's what's saying is like that's what didn't work here is what Ubisoft is saying though is that releasing that Division 2 too close to Division 1 is what led to the Division 2 not doing it as well.
But the unfortunate
I think ideally they'd like that, but at least in this specific example it hasn't played out that way.
Here's the thing, Eve's not wrong. He was correct in saying that releasing Division 2 so close to Division 1 was a mistake. However, the games as service stuff wasn't baked into Division 1. They had to make a new one to put more of the stuff that we've learned over the last few years with games as service into the game that wasn't in Division 1. Yeah. I don't know if games as service is a thing that is going to stay viable after a while, but it's what we're going to be looking at over the next few years in gaming. So
I think it's going to be like Marvel movies, where like you have the Marvel movies is all superhero movies basically that dominate superhero movies. So you're basically going to have like there's a handful of games that are game as service, like your Fortnites or Destiny 2s. Those are your big games as service games, and then everything else is trying to compete and not doing it very well. Yeah. Speaking of Fortnite Chapter 2 leaker is sued by Epic Games. They are suing Ronald Skies, who's a UX tester, user experience tester. He was hired on September 21st. And I guess it started leaking stuff within days. He'd be on Twitter, people would say something, and he would just comment and be like, DM me, I can tell you about swimming in
he was the guy that leaked the map on
11.
Reddit, wasn't he?
I didn't see that in the article, but I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
They said that Epic said that there were other accounts they found that they're suspicious were him leaking stuff. So yeah, not good on him. You were interested in the story, Trevor. What are your thoughts?
I'm just going to start with this. Hey, kids, don't work for companies and leak shit. It's not a good idea.
See, it turns out when you sign a legally binding document that says, I won't say anything about all of this information I'm now being exposed to, but then you say stuff anyway, they will take you to court because they can afford way better lawyers than you can because you're a dumbass. Like,
God,
Duh.
what was
in
the
this
game
context,
that?
too, they can afford lawyers you can afford, but you're gonna have to pay for them anyway when you obviously lose this lawsuit. You have to pay their legal fees.
What game was that guy leaking from Nintendo a couple years ago, and they hunted his ass down? Like, it took them a year, but they found him and sued him.
Oh no, that was
I have no idea.
I don't think that was a leak. I think it was or like he was selling early copies.
Oh, was it that?
I think so, because it was in Australia. Because they talked about it
okay.
on one of the Kind of Funny shows this week.
Still,
there's like an Australian guy who
down.
broke a street date somehow, and they got him like years later.
But with this stuff, don't you sign an NDA? Fucking stick to the NDA, unless it's Jason Schreier's talking to you, because he'll take you into his ever loving arms and hold on to you and make you feel comfortable. Leak stuff to him, it's fine. But yeah, don't take this shit onto Reddit and Twitter. What are you doing?
Especially if he's using his
your
personal
own Twitter
account.
Yeah,
exactly.
They'll never catch me.
And yeah, the reason I sent you is just because it's like, yeah, if you leak shit and you are easily found out, there will be consequences, and this dude is learning that the hard way.
Yeah, I have no
serious consequences too. Like, seriously, in the grand scheme of things, what's going to have a bigger impact in your life? Some people are going to go, "Hey, did you leak the Fortnite Chapter 2 stuff?"
Yeah.
Which no one will never ask you. Or is the millions of dollars they're probably going to owe this company?
Oh my god, they own
and be
you.
in debt for. Yeah. And no one will hire him again either.
Oh, yeah,
no one's going to be like, come work at our studio.
That's the other big thing. If you want to have an actual career in gaming and in the video game industry, don't fucking do this. Like, just what? No.
Yeah, no. His career's dead.
Yeah.
Michael Pachter had a good. Do you guys ever watch Pachter Factor?
No, I know Michael Pachter. I didn't know he had a show.
Yeah, he has a little show called Pachter Factor. I like it. Basically, people just ask him questions. But because he has a lot of industry connections, he works with a lot of studio heads a lot. He kind of gets how these things work.
Yeah.
At a different level than a lot of other game commentators because he's a stock analyst. Since he's always right, but he talked about how games leak. He's like, when you're talking about like legitimate leaks, what usually happens is someone on Reddit who's outside of the system or the industry notices a consistency or a pattern of some kind and then says, "Hey, I think this is going to happen," and then they'll put it out there. And then if enough people agree, it quote unquote becomes a leak.
Yeah.
That's how most leaks actually happen.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. That Pachter Factor.
I like Pachter Factor. It's a good show. I also like Michael Pachter. I guess some people don't like him.
Yeah, because sometimes he, from what I heard, like crawls up his own ass. But who knows?
Yeah, he's definitely full of himself. He definitely thinks he's very smart. But he is very smart.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's the other thing. Like the thing is, though, he's successful because he's not wrong all the time. Like he gets shit right. Like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But people love to point out like when he's wrong about something, and I'm like, yeah, but that's like one thing you just mentioned.
Yeah, that happens.
He makes his money off of stock from knowing the game industry. Like he knows his shit.
Yeah.
Ace, I'm really curious what you think about this next story. So this is WWE Games' response to Backlash received from the release of WWE 2K20. Just gonna few points here, then we'll jump into it. WWE 2K20 has been suffering from some serious bugs, which is kind of putting it lightly. Terribly outdated graphics, glitchy animations, and a lot of other issues. They acknowledged the issues on Twitter after tons of backlash, people being really pissed at the game, really poor review scores. They said, "We are listening closely to the feedback that's been shared regarding WWE 2K and are aware of the concerns some players are reporting. We're working hard to investigate these concerns and address them as necessary. We expect to have an initial patch ready in the next 2 weeks with others to follow. Stay tuned to WWE Games social media channels for more information." Asa.
Okay. So if any of your listeners have or if there's any of the Podzilla people who have followed me to listen to this, you've heard me talk about the 2K franchise in general with WWE games. I have never been a fan of these games pretty much from the jump. The last wrestling game I think I ever truly loved was in the SmackDown versus Raw series. These just I'm not a huge fan of the way they do these. But for weeks leading up to this, to the release, there have been videos, there's been Twitter posts, there have been like official footage that they have put out. I don't know how much of this you guys have seen, but there's a wrestler in NXT named Bianca Belair. She has a giant braided ponytail that goes like down to her ass. And part of her shtick, or like part of her gimmick, is she hits people with it. And it makes a really awesome sound. It's cool. They posted her entrance, and it looks like it is a sentient pool noodle, like next to her head. And then it just snaps back behind her whenever she's done twirling it for her entrance.
Sentient pool noodle is my next D&D item.
This game looked atrocious. And granted, there's some factors that went into it. Ukes left. We're not 100% sure if they quit or were fired, but they peaced out. And they were the primary developer for all of this. But this game comes out, and it is a mess. The character models look terrible. The story mode stuff looks like it's from a PS2 era, legitimately. Like, people were playing a game, is this Bully or WWE 2K20? It's unacceptable for a company to put out this and say, yes, pay us $60 now. Oh, and then, like, this statement, honestly, like, made me mad. Like, even angrier, because like I'll admit I was wrong. I very much predicted that they were never going to issue a statement other than patch notes when it inevitably got patched. But for them to say, we are aware of the concerns some players are reporting, we're working hard to investigate these concerns and address them as necessary. What do you mean investigate? Turn on your fucking Twitter.
But also, some players are reporting. Yeah. Actually, it seems pretty unanimous. So I mean, like, I don't think anyone's playing this game going, "No, it's great." What are you guys complaining about? You don't see the game I see.
My Pro Wrestling Unscripted co-hosts Shannon and Dalton, like, they've run into issues, but I don't know if they've really run into any of the huge game-breaking things that are coming up on Twitter. Which, granted, like, yeah, you're going to see the worst of the worst on Twitter, but the sheer volume of those is unacceptable. But for them to say, we're working hard to investigate. No, you put out a broken game. Like, that's just what you did. The game is broken. And then for them to say it's going to take 2 weeks to get an initial patch. Get the fuck out of here. And the thing that makes me the
Tell
most
me how
angry,
you really feel, Asa.
Oh, dude, wrestling already gets enough of a black eye. It doesn't need this shit show to, like, make it look even worse. But, like, the thing that pisses me off the most is I know that next year, if they put out a semi-competent game, like a game that doesn't have these totally broken everything, they're going to pat themselves on the back and be like, oh, look, 2K21, return to form. This is the game you've all been wanting. Ugh, it's so gross.
No bugs.
Well, that's just not going to happen because, like, and a lot of the things where people are saying, it's like, well, these are all like, yes, we are getting the same bugs we've gotten in 19 and in 18 and in 17 because nothing ever really gets fixed. Everything just kind of gets updated. Or in the case of 2K20, even stripped away. So it's...
Or the graphics literally look worse. I was seeing some reviews, some comparisons to 2K19, and it is noticeably worse.
No, yeah, the character... a lot of the character models are real bad. Like, if you look up The Rock in 2K19 versus 2K20, like, they look like they have a very robust create a wrestler feature, which a lot of the content, like the community content that gets put out, is really awesome, because then that's how you get guys like Kenny Omega and, you know, the people who aren't in the game for whatever reason. Like, you can kind of get them in the game looking very, very realistic. But, like, some of these character models of the actually scanned in or done by 2K superstars look like bad creator wrestlers. They get someone who, it's like they designed The Rock off of memory. Mm-hmm. and they don't remember him very well.
They didn't have the budget for Google Images. They just didn't have it.
So
they couldn't do anything from his likeness.
Yeah. So do you guys ever watch Funhouse's news, the Inside Gaming?
Yes, I love Inside Gaming.
No, I don't.
Did you watch the one? Because they dedicated an entire episode.
Oh,
to how
I
bad
haven't
this
seen
game
that
is.
yet. I'll go watch that after this episode.
So it's really good, but Lawrence has a really phenomenal theory on why this game is how it is. And essentially, if you go back to 2K15, these games have been selling less and less every year. Like, it was at like 3-something million, I think, for 2K15, and then 19 didn't even crack like 1.3 or something like that. Ooh. So essentially what they're doing now is instead of trying to go out and find someone to replace Ukes, they kept it all in-house with their creative vision or whatever the studio's called. So they are trying to keep the costs as low as possible because they know they're already going to take a wash on the franchise, on the licensing, because 2K has the exclusive rights to WWE. Like, no one else can put out a WWE game using the WWE trademarks. So his theory is that they are just pumping out as cheaply made as possible games until that license expires. So they're going to try to lose as little as possible, or in what could have happened with the Battlefront 2 Fallout, of maybe WWE just pulls the license from them.
Yeah,
and the more he talked about it,
more likely going to happen.
The more he talked about it, the more I was like, oh dang, yeah, that doesn't sound insane. Because otherwise, I would hate to think that this is a group of people's honest to God best work.
Mm-hmm. I'd be hard pressed to. I'd be shocked if someone was proud of the game.
Oh no, and I know there's and I talked about it on PWU. Like, I guarantee you there are people that are heartbroken seeing what they put out.
Oh,
but these are the decisions coming from the top of 2K, not at the ground level of people who do love wrestling and who do want to have a good wrestling game.
And budget makes sense because if you look at the whole it looks like a PS3 game, and a lot the one common thing I've been seeing from reviewers of this game is that they say, quote, "We know we joke around this a lot, but this really does legitimately look like a last generation game."
Yeah.
And you look at it, and it does. The character models are not not even the character models, even the environments themselves.
Yeah.
Have nothing going on inside of them. They're just these kind of hollow set piece rooms. Where it doesn't feel lived in or real in any way at all. It just feels like they had to have some walls and it's a hotel room, so we'll put a bed. And they're one of the scenes is in a hotel room, and it's just all right, standard bed, standard desk, standard chair, nothing special about anything in this room at all. No fine details, just build something quick and throw it in there.
And then all of the really, really special stuff, the 2K originals, which are, that's where the Fiend is, that's the hottest act in WWE right now. All of that stuff, that's DLC. It's not even out yet. So it was that was the free pre-order bonus. So the stuff that everyone was really, really looking forward to isn't even on the disc.
Yeah.
Or it's not available at launch. And it just I love wrestling so much. I really do. It is one of my true passions in life. And to see us consistently get subpar representation in video games, it really, really bums me out. Because this is just garbage. And that statement they issued is garbage.
Well, who knows? Maybe
it's still better than Blizzard's statement about China.
Speaking of Blizzard, can I come in with some breaking news?
Ooh.
Yeah, go for it. You're on a third party still.
Supposed images of Overwatch 2 have leaked. One of them is showing off talents for Tracer that unlock at certain levels, a supposed new hero, and what looks like something out of a cutscene with several of the Overwatch heroes talking. Read through another article from a a site that I've never heard of before, so I doubt is going to be all that credible, so take this with a grain of salt. But
what site is it?
Oh, God, I'm trying to find the name of it again because I scrolled past it. But basically, one of the things that they were saying is that the leaker is saying that there is currently no plans to carry over any progress or any content over from Overwatch 1 into Overwatch 2. So any skins, your diamond status, nothing is carrying over. And that has a lot of people, obviously upset if that's true, because they've spent a lot of money and a lot of time on Overwatch 1, and so now to basically doing Overwatch 2, and apparently there's going to be PvE missions and new maps and stuff like that and some new heroes, but that seems like a bad call to do, because we were literally just talking about releasing 2 sequel games with a lot of DLC content too close to each other, and this I think would be a very good example of that.
Didn't they also say they were never going to make Overwatch 2?
People say a lot of things.
But they said it wasn't even we're not going to make it. It's that we don't need to make it. Anything that we would put in Overwatch 2 will be added content to Overwatch 1.
Yeah.
Well, I know they mentioned like the original leak of Overwatch 2 was going to include a story mode, so that PvE version, which just sounds like a lot of that could be coming from. The cynical part of me almost thinks that Blizzard might be just leaking this themselves to take some of the pressure off of what is surely going to be an absolute shit show with BlizzCon.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they don't want someone coming to the mic going, was this a joke?
Yeah, so, well, if you think anybody is going to have a live mic at BlizzCon this year, I got a bridge to sell you. These are going to be just...
You're totally right. They're not going to do anything like
They'll
that.
have question and answers, but they will be pre-submitted questions that they are reading off of a cue card.
I guarantee you they're not going to let anyone up to that mic.
No, yeah.
Yeah, every voice matters, asterisk, as long as you're on the stage with us.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if even the nothing is going to carry over, that also just very much sounds like okay, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off, only to then, hey, guess what? All of your skins in patch, Overwatch 2 1.0 or 1.5.
The leaker did say that it's possible that will change, and that would... Because if they put out this news now, it's like, nothing's going to carry over. And then they come out and they're like, everything's going to carry over. And everyone's like, oh, we forgive you. It's like, oh, well, don't.
Yeah,
exactly. Guarantee you that they won't even mention it at the announcement. It'll be something that gets announced afterwards, or they'll try to get ahead of it and try to patch it before they even have to tell anyone that it doesn't carry over.
I could see them not doing it not making that announcement with the announcement of the game, because they want that to be as positive as possible. But I feel like they can't release 2, and that's how people find out. Mm-hmm. Like, they will have to acknowledge it at some point between the announcement and the launch.
Didn't Destiny get away with this? Didn't Destiny 2 not carry over any of your progress?
No, it didn't. But other than like your character. But they
you
said
played
everything...
Destiny 1, here's an emblem.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you
but that is something that people were very upset about.
Oh yeah, I was an emblem fiend in Destiny 1, and now because none of them carried over into Destiny 2, and I know they won't carry over into Destiny 3, I don't give a fucking shit about them. Every time they're like, oh, come do this thing, you'll get an emblem. I'm like, I really don't fucking care. I'll donate money to the charity stuff, but you giving me an emblem means absolutely nothing to me. So I'm just going to donate for charity. But yeah, I didn't want to take up too much time with that, because again, this is an unofficial leak from people who I'm not sure are credible sources. There's a few images that I thought were interesting, and it's trending on Twitter right now, so I thought it might be worth mentioning.
Interesting. Interessante. Speaking of interesting, we go to our Microsoft Quest log, which has one item in it, but it's an important item. Microsoft has paid indie devs over $1 billion this generation. Specifically, $1.2 billion to developers in the ID at Xbox program. Trevor, this is one you wanted to talk about.
Yes, I love indie games. I love indie developers. I love anyone that's just like, I wanted to make a game, so I fucking did it. And to hear that Microsoft is like, paying these people what they deserve, and they're funding them, and they're making their dreams come true, I love it. Yeah, Microsoft does some dumb shit, but I like that they're doing this.
It's good news for indies all around. I think it's something that's going to... I wonder if this is even just a way of saying, hey, I know indies are having a good time on Nintendo or Switch right now, but don't forget that
this is 100%
our console's coming out
is.
next year.
Because, like, Nintendo's has a very good relationship with indie developers doing their, Nindies events and stuff like that, but they're not funding... Like, I think maybe like 3 indie games they've ever funded. What was the
Cadence of Hyrule?
Cadence of Hyrule, yeah. Which again is like, that is a really big step for Nintendo. They let someone who's only made one game make a Zelda game, and that's really cool.
Yeah,
but but Microsoft on the other hand is like, we are just giving you money to make games that you want to make, and I absolutely love that they're doing that, and I do wish that Nintendo did it a little bit more, but they don't really need to, because like every Thursday there's a freaking flood of indie games on that Switch.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming.
Yeah, but and that's the thing, like the Switch is an indie machine. It really is. I love Breath of the Wild and all the Nintendo games on everything, but like, man, anytime I see a new indie game that's coming out, especially if it's like a 2D side-scrolling game, I'm like, when's that coming to Switch? And if they're like, it's not, I go, you're fucking up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, but...
Like, I think like Hollow Knight was already a big game on PC, but I think it blew up on Switch.
I actually bought it
God, I can't wait for Silksong.
On Steam when it came out because I was so hyped about it, and I got like an hour into the game. I went, I have to stop playing this because I want to play this on Switch, and it's not going to be as special if I play through it already. But like I'm saying that, and like I want to play everything on my Switch, but at the same time, if Microsoft is willing to give these people money to make these games, who knows? Maybe they'll bring them to Switch. But like I absolutely love that they're doing that, and it's like Nintendo is fine, but like then there's Sony off on the other side that's like, we used to be really good with indie games. Remember us?
But then we didn't need them anymore.
Remember that time we did an E3 and showed a bunch of indie games and we did that? But
actually now it's more, well, we don't need to sell the Vita anymore, so we're done with indie games.
R.I.P. You will be missed.
It's like Sony's like if Michael Bay like took 3 years to start making art films and then just immediately went back to like The Island 2.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. I don't...
Oh, The Island was terrible.
Hey, Ewan McGregor's pretty in that.
He is. All right. So I think this is hysterical. In high school, do you ever do this in high school? Like you'd read a book and then watch the movie of that book.
Yeah. Oh, I still do that.
Yeah. So absolutely. We read Brave New World. And the accompanying movie for Brave New World was The Island.
Oh my god.
Why?
I have no idea. I guess they're similar enough.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I can see where you tried, but you only tried.
It's literally the only thing I remember about The Island is that we were the only people in the theater when we saw it.
But yeah, I think that's all we need to say about Microsoft indie stuff. Like they're doing an awesome job, and as long as they keep doing this, good on them.
C. All right, so Sony's her final quest log before the main quest. So Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed. It's now coming in May 29th specifically, despite just being announced for February a month ago. The team either faced delaying or compromising the game, according to Neil Druckmann. He said, "We wish we could have foreseen the amount of polish we needed, but the size and scope of this game got the better of us. We hate disappointing our fans. For that, we're sorry." This also, apparently, according to Jason Schreier, is going to have an impact on Ghost of Tsushima. He tweeted out, BT Dubs, he said BTW, Ghost of Tsushima doesn't have a public release date yet, but it'll be pumped later. It'll be pumped later in 2020. I copy and pasted that. That's kind of odd phrasing.
I think he means bumped.
Bumped. Blah. I'm an idiot there. Also be bumped later in 2020 to account for this delay. Don't expect them to suddenly turn it into a PS5 game or anything, but it was originally planned for the first half of the year, not anymore.
And that makes a lot of sense.
So you and I were talking about this on Destiny, that about how close it is to Cyberpunk. However, I just looked at it's May 29th now. So Cyberpunk comes out a month and a half before Last of Us 2. And I'm not going to say
that's enough time.
I'm not going to say that people aren't going to be done with Cyberpunk because like it's a long fucking game. But I think that now is a better distancing of Cyberpunk from this game, where it's going to have more of its own window. Cyberpunk comes out, everybody's like, woo! And then, like, the talk about starts to die down by the time Last of Us 2 comes out, so they got more of their own window of focus.
Yeah. It's also really close to E3, which I think would be a death sentence for a lot of games, but not for The Last of Us.
No, not at all.
No, it's big enough to survive that. Now, every other game that changed its release date to not compete with The Last of Us, because like the first half of 2020 is going to be loaded. Cyberpunk, Last of Us, Avengers. It's
oh yeah, that's right. That Avengers game
intense.
exists.
Doom, Animal Crossing, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
there's so much.
Animal Crossing.
I can't wait.
I want that game so bad. And Chad's not here to talk shit about it, so fuck you, Chad. You suck.
I'm also excited for Furry Chore Simulator.
I can't wait for a goat to want to give me their sweatshirt at 2 a.m. It's going to be so good.
I just think it's funny that Doom and Animal Crossing are coming out on the same day.
What
like two games that couldn't be
day.
any more different from each other.
Oh my god.
So there's been a lot of talk of Ghost of Tsushima going to PS5 anyway. Jason Charter says don't expect that. But I think because of a lot of these games will be cross-gen, obviously. There's going to be enhancements, I think, for PS5. Yeah. And I think they might then just end up using this game as like a look at the comparison between this on PS4, which already looked really fucking good, and on PS5, where it's going to look even more fucking good than before. So I think that's going to be fine. That's not going to hurt them, I don't think. But in terms of Last of Us, delay it. Delay it as long as you need to. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to play this game, but I can't wait to play the game that Naughty Dog is happy with.
Yeah, I would so much rather. It's the Miyamoto quote of a rushed game is
bad forever.
Yeah, bad forever. But you can, a delayed game is eventually good. Because can you imagine if The Last of Us came out looking like WWE? Like, I know they would never put out something like that, but that crowd is...
No, but
like,
yeah,
Ellie's
it would
just
be,
like, Joel, you're
so
here, and her teeth just start floating away.
Yeah, like Mass Effect Andromeda style.
They have no eyelids anymore. We have to get these clickers.
Don't blink.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I think I don't know if anyone's actually upset about the delay.
I mean, I'm sure people
I haven't really seen too much.
I'm sure people are like base level, like their gut reaction is, "Oh man," and then also kind of giving them a little bit of shit because really you just had a special event dedicated to the announcement of your release date and you're already going back on that. But ultimately, I think everybody recognizes, especially fans of the franchise, like they recognize that this is a good thing, all things considered.
Yeah. Personally, I was pretty happy because that's going to be after my semester, which means that I won't have to compete
they did it for you, Holden.
with things I actually have to do.
It's all for you.
My teacher friend.
It's all for me.
My teacher friend also was like, "Ooh, this is how I'm going to kick off my summer." Yep. So he was real excited about that. And honestly, it gives me a little bit more time to actually play the first Last of Us, so I'm not upset at all.
Oh, man. I really want to make it a barf next year just because I want to play through it again before the new one comes out.
I wanted to do it for...
Just to remember all those story details.
I wanted to do it for Halloween, but I just never got around to it.
I'll tell you this, it's not a very Halloween-y game.
Yeah, because it's not scary. It's more, and that's the reason I haven't played it yet, is because I recognize the amount of time and emotional energy I'm going to have to dedicate to it. Mm-hmm. And I'm never really like ready to make that level of commitment quite yet. Yeah. But I think after Control, that'll be the one that I jump into. That or either it might be Dragon Quest 11. But
there you go.
We'll see.
Dragon Quest 11 is good so far. I played the demo. I haven't gotten a chance to play the full release, even though I have it on my Switch.
I have such a huge blind spot in JRPGs in general of just I don't enjoy them, but I got it for super cheap, and I heard it was a good one to start with. Like it's a good entry point for JRPGs.
It is. It's a very straightforward RPG.
So I'm going to give it a try. I'm trying to expand my gaming IQ a little bit.
I need to do JRPGs as well. I have played a Final Fantasy 3 on the DS.
Pokemon is my JRPG extent.
Yeah, I was reluctant to say Pokemon because like, it is technically a JRPG, but I don't associate it with JRPGs.
Oh no, because
like it's kind of its own thing. Mm-hmm. It's there's RPGs, JRPGs, and Pokemon. It's just like a separate thing altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it's really not. It really is just a JRPG.
Technically, it's a Japanese RPG.
Technically, yeah. Moving on to the main quest. This will be interesting. So Fallout first. Let's go through all this stuff, and then we'll discuss all this wonderful news. So Fallout First is a Fallout 76 subscription service for $100 a year. Included for the service, which is also $12.99 per month, and is available to October 23rd, by the way, so it's already out. So what's included is private worlds. You can play in a private world exclusively for you and up to 7 friends. You get a scrap box, which is unlimited storage for crafting components in your own new scrap box container. A survival tent, a new placeable fast travel point with a stash, sleeping bag, and more for your basic needs. You get free atoms every month. You get 1,650, which is an interesting number to pick.
What does that do? We know what that translates to in real world money? Because the atoms are the premium.
$16.50.
Okay.
Yeah. So you already made up all your money for the $12.99 monthly subscription. You made it all back. You get a Ranger armor outfit, which is an iconic Fallout outfit exclusively for members. And you get icons and emotes. They're unique. and they're emotes, and they're only available to members.
In the words,
so that's what it is.
In the words of Ubisoft's investors, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, so that's been the response basically from literally everybody. So first article here is Bethesda pledges to fix early Fallout first bugs. We're going to talk about the launch issues first, then we're going to jump into the public response. So there are already issues with the private worlds. Actually, Trevor, you let me know this when we were playing Destiny on Thursday, and that the private worlds are available to anyone in your friends list. So if you make a private world, anybody in your friends list on Fallout 76 can just join in. Yeah. And the issue there is that a lot of players have friends that they just trade with but aren't like really exactly their friends. Like you have 5,000 Facebook friends, but only 20 of them are actually your friends.
No, it's like that 10-year-old that you accidentally friended on Fortnite one night while you were drunk just suddenly pops in your game. Hi, I'm here. Let's go some stuff. And you're like, oh, cool. My private world is now Shriek Factory.
So Bethesda says that they've realized now that's not what players want. They're going to resolve that issue. The private worlds are also being generated from old server instances, which basically means that you'll go to an area to loot and realize it's already been looted. No one has been there. They just used an old server state that has already been looted for your private world. So that's a lot of fun. And then the items that you're dropping in your scrap box to get later, they might not be there when you go back to your scrap box. Although Bethesda says the items aren't gone, they're just not showing up. It's an interface issue.
Literally,
so they think they can patch that up.
Literally, one of the fixes they said to people was to uninstall the game and reinstall it. And I'm like, yeah, in 1997, that wasn't that big of a problem. Do you know how fucking long it takes to do that now?
And also, the ball's on them to tell people to reinstall Fallout 76 in general.
So
yeah.
So here's the thing. So how much did you say it cost?
It is $12.99 a month, $100 a year.
I just want to point out a few things. So their other online game, Elder Scrolls Online, does have a subscription option. Now, it's a full-price game, and they put out almost full-price expansions every year, like they've done Morrowind and Elsewhere and Somerset Isles, I think. But they have an option to do a subscription one that gets you a bunch of perks and stuff like that. It's $15, and you get 1,500 of their in-game currency, and along with a bunch of other stuff. This is $2 less and doesn't get you nearly as much stuff. And then, to also point out, it's still $3 more than Game Pass. Where you can play all the fucking games.
Yeah, it costs as much as a Netflix subscription.
Yeah, and you're getting non-private worlds, a box that will eat your shit, some emotes no one's going to care about, a ranger outfit, ooh, and that's it.
But it's cool, but it's exclusive. Trevor. It's an exclusive ranger outfit. It's special. Yeah, so a lot of fans agree with you, Trevor.
Like, here's the thing.
So, they're pretty pissed.
So Elder Scrolls Online I can give a bigger pass to on stuff because it is actually an MMO, and it is a completely open world and stuff like that, and MMOs need some supporting because they take a lot of stuff to run them. This is not an MMO. This is an instanced map with how many? 16 players?
Is it Private Worlds is up to 8, including yourself. I think it's 12 players.
You're shitting me.
Regularly?
Okay, so not even a Destiny-sized group of people in an open world. And then they want to start charging almost MMO monthly charges on it. Or you could save some money and pay them $100 for a year. And if you do that, you're insane. Like, I don't know. There's been a theory going around that Bethesda is trying to keep Fallout 76 relevant through controversy. And man, does this make me think that's true.
That's a shitty thing to do, though.
But I mean, it goes back to the old adage. Any news is good news or something like that. Some shit like that. I don't know. It's freaking 10:30
No such thing as bad press.
There we go. Yeah, that. So I like the theory is that they just keep doing these things in order to keep themselves in the news so that people are thinking about them. But I don't know. Seems like a bad idea. And they delay
it is bad.
They delayed a DLC and then put this out.
Yeah, literally like 2 or 3 days before they announced this, they announced that the first big okay, hey, we know you hated playing a Fallout game with no human NPCs, so we're adding those in.
It was the NPC DLC, the thing they announced at E3. Are you fucking shitting me?
It's like, hey, this is getting pushed back. Oh, but by the way, since this game isn't done or works as well as you want it to, give us $100 a year.
Oh my!
And we'll get around to it eventually. Bethesda has a big black eye for me, mostly because again, they just continue to put out games that don't work. Yeah. Go back to Skyrim's launch, Fallout 4's launch. They always put out buggy messes. And then for them to have the audacity to go on stage and make a joke about it, and then they put out Fallout 76?
Well, so here's the thing. There's been a lot of goodwill with Bethesda because they make games that are, buggy but fun and cool, and everybody loves them. But that goodwill is starting to go away. It is starting to go away very quickly. And,
as it should. They should not
Obsidian.
be immune to these. They should not be immune to these criticisms.
Yeah.
No, they shouldn't. But if you look at games like Obsidian, studios like Obsidian, who just released Outer Worlds, which is, it is a Fallout style game, like Trevor was just saying, and it's a better. Would you say it's a better launch?
Oh yeah,
than Fallout
100%.
4? 100%. Witcher 3 is a giant RPG that's huge in fantasy, and that's going to start ranking in those people. They're also doing Cyberpunk, which I think is going to be the next really big RPG on a Skyrim level. It's shaping up that way.
Basically,
Bethesda needs to do something.
To me,
Starfield needs to be incredible.
To me, what I've seen with Bethesda is that they, let themselves believe that they are the best and will always be the best, and then didn't think that they needed to change anything about themselves and the games that they make in order to just stay the best. And they are learning that lesson hard right now. I don't know how Fallout 76 will continue over the next year. I didn't even know how it was going to continue after its launch last November, let alone where it's going to be this November. So
we'll find out. I think it's a shame because I was pumped when they announced the DLC at E3.
Yeah, I was on that episode.
That got me on
guys.
board to say I might buy this game.
Yeah,
and I almost bought it during the summer.
Yeah, we were really excited about with the Battle Royale thing they were going to do and the NPCs coming.
Yeah.
We're like, shit, this might actually be a Fallout game. But now, God, what the fuck?
Well, and so earlier in the show, we talked about the putting out how many games of service a studio should put out per console generation. Mm-hmm. And they mentioned something I think on Kind of Funny again was I can absolutely believe that there eventually will be studios that want to charge a subscription service just for the game, to go that full MMO model. And I think this is Bethesda trying to dip a toe into that, because Bethesda's also we laughed hilariously that they wanted to charge us $5 for horse armor.
Oh yeah,
before anybody else was doing
right.
any of that paid DLC. They were kind of the first one, and everyone ripped them to shreds, but now there aren't very many games that come out that don't have those paid add-ons at some point. So this may just be another example of Bethesda doing it the wrong way, but being ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Of just hey, here's a game of a service, but if you really want the real experience, the best possible experience, once we fix it, you got to subscribe.
Mm-hmm. And even then, it's not that much better of an experience, even if everything worked out the way they said it was, where it's going to be private worlds and all this cool shit. It still was not worth the price that they were asking for.
It's the horse armor of subscription benefits.
Exactly.
Why would I pay for this? But then everybody's going to do it, and everything's a nightmarish hellscape.
Let's jump into what the fans were saying about this, or in really particular one fan that I saw this. This is amazing.
I saw this on the notes because I wanted to make sure it got brought up because it's perfect.
It's perfect. So the site for Fallout First, Bethesda didn't buy the domain for it, so someone else did.
That's right.
And then someone just changed the entire. They kept the images the same, the layout was exactly the same, and they just changed all the text. So here's what the there's an archive linked to this that I can put in the show notes if you guys want it. Actually, you guys already have it, but for everyone else, I'll put the link in there. So he said in the opening, ever since Fallout 76 launched, we have consistently done nothing to improve and evolve the experience based on your shitty feedback. That's why we're excited to launch Fallout Fuck You First, a premium ass-pounding membership that offers something dumbass players have been asking for since before launch. Private worlds for you and your select idiot cough friends, so we decided to put it behind a paywall. In addition to this huge feature, in quotes, Fallout Fuck You First also includes a host of pointless items and cult bonuses, all of which you can find on my foreskin. For the best part, Fallout Fuck You First is available to screw you right now. That's just one paragraph. It's literally everything on the webpage was like this.
It's amazing. It has been archived because it was taken down very quickly.
Oh my
Very quickly,
God.
yes. But thank you, Wayback Machine, which is an amazing website where it just catalogs most websites, and you can pull that stuff back up again.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, that's amazing. That's incredible. So they're feeling the heat right now for sure. Basically just everything we were talking about before. So I wanted to get that in there before moving on to our Ryan subscriber interrogatives, which this week comes from Dustin Epitome Hill, who said, okay, hashtag Ryan subscriber interrogatives. I need to hear y'all's thoughts on all the Death Stranding stuff that's been revealed, specifically Otter Norman Reedus.
He tweeted...
There's been a lot of Death Stranding stuff.
He tweeted this, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What the fuck are you fucking talking about?
There's a picture of Norman Reedus' character, Sam Bridges, wearing an otter suit in the game.
Oh,
Death
that
Stranding.
doesn't surprise me in the least.
But how does he get the otter suit?
We don't know yet. Do we know
We
yet?
know who gives it to him.
Is it Conan
O'Brien?
It's Conan
Yeah.
fucking O'Brien.
Yeah.
Because Conan O'Brien's in the game. They announced that, which is neat. Like I'm on the wrong episode for him to ask that question because I'm not super excited for Death Stranding.
Oh my God. That otter costume. Oh wow.
I'm curious about it, but like I never got into the Metal Gear franchise, so I don't have that attachment to Kojima that a lot of people, rightfully do. Like I understand he's a genius and he puts out some great things. It's just all kind of missed me. So I'm curious about it, but I'm not someone who is keeping up with any of this news. The only reason I know about this is because of Conan O'Brien. Because I love Conan.
Hold on, I know you don't do thumbnails for the show, but if you did, I would want this Conan O'Brien in an otter mask as the thumbnail. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love Metal Gear.
I think that this game is just going to be quirky and weird.
Yeah, no, I love Metal Gear
that.
and I love Kojima, but this game, I'm just like, this game is real fucking weird. Like, what the fuck is happening in this game? Part of me wants to get it, but the other part of me just kind of wants to watch someone else play it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do when it comes out.
I have it pre-ordered, so I have it. I'm going to play it. I don't have it. I can't play it yet. I don't have early access or anything. But people do have early access to it now, and so far the buzz is that it is fucking incredible.
Good.
Yeah, I know the embargo lifts on the 1st. So are you going to be kind of consuming all the reviews and impressions that come out, or are you going to want to try to go and do it a little bit blinder?
This past year, I really have stopped watching reviews for games because I just want it to be my own opinion. I don't want to know what anyone else is saying about it, unless in this case WWE 2K20. I have no plans to play that game, and for the news story I had to look at the reviews because that was relevant. Outside of that, I really don't watch reviews anymore.
Okay.
I'm pretty good about staying away from that stuff.
I am actually going to dive full into those, and even if there's spoiler stuff, I'll probably look into it because I can guarantee you there's going to be a bunch of shit in this game that even if it's spoiled for you, still gonna be fucking weird when you see it. So I'm gonna dive pretty hard at this because I want to know what the fuck is going on. Why is Norman Reedus peeing off a cliff with Mads Mikkelsen coming out of oil? What's happening?
Yeah, it's gonna be really strange. But I've been back and forth this year. I was really excited about it. Then the gameplay of Norman Reedus peeing on a mushroom, and I went, I don't know if I'm going to get this game. And the gameplay demo came out, and I'm like, all right, it's not just peeing on mushrooms. There's some meat to the bones here. And so I pre-ordered it. I'm going to play it. I'm excited for it.
I feel like this.
I'm excited for it.
I feel like this subscriber interrogative should have been passed over to Jerica's podcast because she'd be the one to talk to about this.
Yeah, she knows a lot about Death Stranding for sure. I want to jump into Game on Game Show because I made a Game on Game Show. That's usually Chad's thing, but Chad's obviously. We didn't really announce at the beginning of the podcast, but I think people put it together that Chad's not recording with us today.
Yeah, fuck you,
His
Chad.
mic's just been off this whole time.
Yeah. So we're gonna play Marry Fuck Kill, except we're gonna play the safe Christian appropriate version of Marry Fuck Kill, which is Marry Hug Excommunicate.
No, fuck you. I'm Mary fucking killing this shit.
I thought it was going to be Bed Wed Dead.
Oh, I like that too.
Wow, I like.
So no, we can do Marry Fuck Kill. That's fine. So first one is we're going to do Marry Fuck Kill for extracurricular Mario games,
like
which
Mario
are
teaches
Mario
typing?
Kart, Mario Party, and Super Mario RPG. Just like the spin-off ones. I just thought it'd be funny to call the extracurricular ones.
The school games he did.
So Mario Kart, Mario Party, Super Mario RPG. We got to Marry Fuck Kill. Those games. I'd say kill Mario Party.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kill Mario Party. I'm gonna marry Mario Kart. I'm gonna fuck Mario RPG. Because all I need is that. I just need that one good fuck on that one.
Completely.
So I'm marrying Mario RPG because that's the one that I want. For the long haul. I'll fuck with Mario Kart, and then just kill Mario Party. It brings out
I
the
do
worst
love
side of
Mario
me.
Party, but if presented with these three things, yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill it.
No, I'm gonna happily just give me that soul stone. I'm sacrificing you.
All right, what's the next one?
We pretty much all agree on that one.
Yeah.
Next one is popular GameCube games. So we have to Marry Fuck Kill Super Mario Sunshine, Wind Waker, and Metroid Prime. This is going to be tough.
I'm gonna be yeah.
I'm going to challenge us in this one. We have to have a unanimous consensus on this.
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
No, that's not gonna happen. I guarantee
Trevor has
it.
to work. That's not fair.
Yeah. So
I love all these games.
I'm gonna
to be clear.
I'm gonna marry Metroid Prime because I love Metroid a lot. I have a fucking Metroid
already agree with you
on here. Oh my god, just give me all the fucking Metroid you can.
That's the one that I was going to go with Mary as well. So we're good there.
I'm gonna
okay, so we all agree on Marry then.
I'm gonna fuck Wind Waker. I'm gonna kill Mario Sunshine.
Dude. That's exactly what
all
I was
right,
going to say.
we're
Exactly what I was
unanimous.
gonna say.
Yeah,
That was a lot
yeah.
easier than
I do love Mario
Sunshine.
Sunshine. It's a very pretty and fun game, but yeah, and with those three, get the fuck out of here.
See, the only wrinkle, because that was too unanimous, the only wrinkle I'll throw in that is that the HD remaster of Wind Waker is so much better.
100% agree.
So if we killed...
It's a lot better. The Triforce Quest in particular. Oh my god.
Get that fast sale right off the bat.
I never even got it when I played the HD version of it. I didn't even use it. I love the sailing in Wind Waker.
That's true.
I don't care. It takes forever. That music. A Great Sea Theme is one of my favorite Zelda songs.
It's so good.
All right, we have time for one more. I think this is one that we all played most of these games. So, sci-fi RPGs. We have Mass Effect, we have Fallout, and we have KOTOR.
Okay, so I'm gonna get controversial here. If y'all want to fight me, I'm at the 5-star man on Twitter. Bring it, nerds. I'm not afraid. First off, the correct answer is marry KOTOR.
Yes.
One of the best RPGs of all time. Not even up for discussion.
Yes.
I'm gonna fuck Mass Effect, but I'm gonna kill Fallout because it eventually spawned Fallout 76.
Fun fact, I'm 100% agreement with you.
They eventually fixed Andromeda. So, it can say what you will about the quality there. And this is coming from someone who doesn't particularly care for either the Mass Effect or the Fallout franchise. But yeah, no, fuck Fallout.
No,
Kill Fallout because fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't KOTOR 2, wasn't that not as good?
I mean, it wasn't as good, but it was still really good.
Fun fact, made by Obsidian, who made Outer Worlds.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. It was good. It just it wasn't as good as the first one, but it's still a really good game.
I was going to say marry Mass Effect. I just love Mass Effect.
Well, so do I, yeah. But
I think it's fantastic.
I'm also like a massive Star Wars nerd that is a total whore for anything Star Wars, so...
But at least personally, the thing with me in Mass Effect is that I never got the chance to play Mass Effect 3, despite Mass Effect 2 being one of my favorite games ever. And this is the primary reason why I get an Xbox, is that I can finally play Mass Effect 3 and really go back and just replay the whole trilogy so I have my character progressing with me. So it's like I see a future with Mass Effect, and that's important for marriage. So I want to marry Mass Effect. I'm going to fuck with Fallout.
You're fucking up.
Because I like Fallout a lot. And KOTOR, it just got the shitty end of this. It just drew the short straw. I haven't ever finished KOTOR. I've dabbled with it. I've never beaten it completely. And you guys are nodding your heads in complete judgment of me. And I
think the word you're looking for is shaking. We are shaking our heads. If I had a bell right now,
I said nodding, but nodding would be like affirmative. But
I was going to let him go, but you know what? Yeah, he doesn't deserve that. We are shaking our heads at you, you monster.
Yeah, I'm pretty terrible. But guess what? You don't have to be with me much longer anymore, because that's it. That's our show for today. If you like to play with us every week, get a cool new wallpaper every month, and say and have a say in what we play, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/RespawnAimFire for only $1. This month, we will be playing Metal Gear Solid, which we'll be talking about in about a week.
Yep.
So pretty soon. But if that's too much, no pressure, feel free to follow us and share your thoughts at RespawnAimFire on Twitter or RespawnAimFire@gmail.com. Thanks. And for our usual sign-off...
Wait, real quick.
Well, that's Chad's thing, so we'll just let him do that next week.
Do you mind if he and I plug stuff real quick?
Oh, of course. I'm so sorry. Yes, of course.
Hey, so you go first. What do you want to plug?
Can't plug anything.
My podcast, Podzilla 1985, is the network. We do 4 shows a week, ranging from just general BSing around. We do a nerdy news show, talk about video games, comics, movies, things like that. And then Wednesday nights we do Pro Wrestling Unscripted, which is the pro wrestling news and recaps and things like that we do. That's all under you only have to subscribe to one thing. It's just the Podzilla 1985 on all the podcast services. And then we do the episodes are just under that. And then, like I said, my Twitter is the 5-star man with the number 5.
Nice. Yeah, I have a Dungeons & Dragons podcast, which you've probably heard about if you listen to the show enough, because I don't shut up about it when I'm on. It's Difficulty Class, and we talk about all things Dungeons & Dragons. It is myself and my co-host, Allie, and we talk about D&D and nerdy crap like that. In our last episode, we had Puffin Forrest on, who, if you watch his YouTube videos, he's a really fun and awesome guy. Really good friend of Allie and I, so listen to that. It's good stuff. Do that. And you can follow me on Twitter at TheTrevor. TREAVOR, because I spell it differently. So yeah, what would Chad's normal sign off be for this episode?
I just don't want to assume for Chad. He's such a unique individual.
Oh,
only he could possibly know how it ends. So for our usual sign off, Chad,
fuck you.
Missed you, buddy.